Hello and a good morning, good afternoon, and a very good evening to you, the good people of Tube. Hope you're feeling grand and all is well in your world. Hello there, everybody. Welcome to another Q&A Wednesday, everybody. You have to forgive me. I'm not back from the intro jam yet. I'm not here, so bear with me. I am a bit. I'm out of it. That's in the nicest way that music can do. It's really. So bear with me. Okay, so welcome to Q&A Wednesday, everybody. Question 1. Okay, so oh my gravy. Okay, come back, Dave, for a second. Okay, I'll try and get some kind of cognitive thought going. By the way, we're in the Caravaggio room today because of the lighting. Okay, so question 1 today, everybody. What's your dream Red Hot Chili Peppers set list now that John Frusciante is back? I kind of don't really have a dream set list. As long as it's kind of scar tissue's there, I'm a happy bunny because of what scar tissue means to me. I love everything else. You know what I mean? It's like I'm quite happy with anything else. I mean, scar tissue is the song that I always want to hear. Again, just because of what it means to me. I mean, it's my kind of like little selfish side it's my selfish sort of fan side of the Chili Peppers. Is I always want them to do scar tissue, and luckily both times I saw them live in the past, they did scar tissue, so I was really happy about that. It always makes me really happy. I love that song. As if you've seen the video, you know why. But yeah, I don't really have a dream Chili Peppers set list. I mean, there's so many songs that I love of theirs, but like I say, if Scar Tissue's in the set list and Don't Forget Me's in the set list, which is another one, I'm a happy little bunny. You know what I mean? Even if I would just come on stage and play those two songs, I think that'd be enough for me. You know what I mean? It's those two songs have a real deep, especially Scar Tissue, got a really deep meaning to me. So yes, so I don't really have a dream kind of Chili Peppers set list. It's just kind of like. Kind of whatever in a way, really. Okay, so you also asked, what would you like the Red Hot Chili Peppers' new album to be like? Whatever they want it to be. I mean, I'm quite, I'm not quite excited. That's an understatement of the century. I'm very excited to see what happens. Yeah, eat my own hair, gross. Yeah, I'm very excited to see what they come out with. I'm curious to see where John is as well, because as we know, John's very flitty. He kind of like, you know, one week it'll be this, one week it'll be that. Like Californication, his mindset for Californication is totally different from his mindset for By the Way, and his mindset for By the Way is totally different to Stadium Arcadium and Blood Sugar Sex Magic and Mother's Milk. So he kind of goes in these things. So it'd be interesting to see where John's at musically, especially considering like for 10 years he hasn't really done guitar music and pop music, you know, lack of a better word. You know, the Chili Peppers kind of, you know, that kind of, you know, you think of songs like Snow and Scar Tissue and Daddy California. They're very radio friendly songs, and John for the last 10 years has been doing very kind of radio friendly songs. You know, I'm not having a go at those songs. I'm not saying they're terrible, because they're not. It's just the fact is they're not radio friendly like Snow is or Tell Me Baby or something like that. You know, they're a different breed. So for John to be away from that world of creating kind of popular music for such a long period of time, it'd be interesting to see where he's at and see where he takes the band, because and I say where he takes the band because I think he'll have a very strong influence on this. I really do. I mean, he always has. I mean, how many interviews have we seen of the Chili Peppers talking about a song and they're like, oh, well, John came in with this idea, or John came in with that idea. So it's like, you know, it'll be interesting to see. It will be interesting. I'm kind of open to I don't really have any idea in my mind of what they're going to do, and I kind of prefer that. Because then, no matter what happens, like, you know, I approach it with an open mind. I don't like the idea of like, oh, I hope it sounds like Californication, or I hope it sounds like Mother's Milk, or Blood Sugar Sex Magic, or Stadium Arcadium, or By the Way. I'm not approaching it from that perspective. I'm approaching it from a perspective of whatever it is, and I will hear it and I will judge it at that point if I like it or not. You know, there's nothing wrong with not liking something your favourite artist does as well. There's there's a bit of a stigma attached to that, and I don't really like it in the fact of I don't like the idea of like, you know, if like, because there's some things that John did that I don't like. There's some things that Jimi Hendrix did that I don't particularly like. There's some things that Rory Gallagher and Peter Green did that I don't particularly like. You know, and it's okay to not like things. You know, if it doesn't do anything for you, then you know you don't have to like it just because you're a fan. I am a John Frusciante's mega fan, but it doesn't mean I'm going to go out and listen to some of his electronic stuff that I don't like. You know, I mean, it's not going to happen because I don't like it. It doesn't appeal to me. You know, it's not knocking on the back doors of the Empyrean or Inside of Emptiness or Neandra or anything like that. So, you know, I think you should be very true and honest to yourself. If you don't like something, be honest to yourself and say, I don't like it. You know, so the Chili Peppers' new album, whenever it comes out, you know, I'm not gonna expect anything from it other than kind of like, you know, it'll be what it'll be. So we'll kind of go from there, so to say, in a way. And like, you know, once it's kind of like it, you know, once it's out and you know, we get to hear it and whatnot, then I'll make my mind up at that point whether it appeals to me or not. And if it doesn't, then it doesn't, which is, you know, it is what it is. And if it does, then wait. If not, then no. You know, so I don't really have anything set in stone or anything in mind. I don't really think that way. Like, you know, I would like that to kind of like be the way it would be for me if I was doing something. You know what I mean? If I was doing, I don't want anybody's kind of like preconceived idea of what I do to be what I do, because then it kind of like, you know, it kind of like typecasts you in a way, and you can't break out of that because people are, you know, might get a bit freaked out by it. I like the idea of just kind of like you judge it when it's finished and out, so to say. You know, if that makes any sense whatsoever. Like, you know, it's when you hear it, you can then go, oh, I like it or I don't like it, and you know immediately. You know what I mean? There are things that grow on you. Definitely, you do have to give things more than one go, but you know, invariably, most of the time, you know if something works for you or doesn't work for you. So, and that's where I'm going to go with this. Well, that's where I go with everything, music-wise. You know, if I don't feel it, then I can't get behind it. You know what I mean? I need to feel what's going on. It needs to hit me there. It can't just be kind of like, you know, it's technically amazing or yeah, I mean, the production's amazing or something. But I don't care about that thing. It has to be. The feel has to be there. It has to be really. It has to feel good. You know, it has to really affect me in a way. So that's kind of the way I'm going to approach the Chili Peppers' new album. It's just kind of open-minded. Just it'll be what they'll be. I'm very curious, but I've got no preconceived idea in my head of what they're going to actually do and which direction they're going to go in. I do feel John will have a very obviously big role to play in this because he always has. You know what I mean? They all do. But you know, the guitar is a very melodic instrument in the Chili Peppers. I mean, I know Flea's bass is, I know Anthony's vocals are, but you know, there's a lot to do there. So you know, we'll see. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. I am looking forward to it. I really am looking forward to it. But like I say, I'm just going to be open-minded to it and just, you know, it'll be what it'll be, and then when it comes out, we'll see. And as I say, I'll be really curious to see all Chili Peppers fans' reactions to it as well. I'm really curious about how it's going to go down and what's gonna kind of happen, really. So it's a very exciting time for Chili Peppers and John Frusciante fans, I've got to say. So yeah, and especially coming up to that first gig they're going to be doing as well. I mean, that's going to be something. That is really going to be something. I wish I could be at that first gig. It would be amazing. I would absolutely love that, but there's no chance. I haven't got that kind of money. So thank God for YouTube is all I can say, because we know it'll be on there. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have any preconceived idea of what it'll be. It'll be what it'll be, and we will see when the time is there, really. So I hope that's such a question. I'm going to move on to question 2 now before I talk about that for the next 10 hours. Okay, so question 2 is, will you try the new Ibanez WH10 V3? Yes, I will. I'm saving up to buy one. So yeah. Somebody actually offered, they were going to buy a V3, and before it went to them, they were going to send it to me for review, but it feels a bit, I would like it to just go straight to them. You know what I mean? I'll kind of get my own kind of thing, like I say, and also I don't like the idea of just in case I don't like it. You know what I mean? I don't want that pedal going to the owner with a bad vibe attached to it just because I didn't like it. You know what I mean? I don't think that's fair whatsoever. So I will be getting my own. Yes, I will be reviewing the new Ibanez WH10. You also asked, what Jaguar would you recommend? Well, the guitar I was playing at the intro jam, and it was because your question I played the Jag. For some reason it's really weird. I had no idea, I never have any idea what my intro jams are going to be until I actually turn on the amplifier and kind of and go, really. And this morning I was like, I don't know what guitar to play. I don't know which way I'm being drawn. I normally, when I do videos and stuff like that, I get drawn to a guitar. I can feel it. It's an unconscious thought where I just kind of feel where I need to be. So sometimes it'll be, predominantly, mostly, it's been the Red Oswald. But there are times where I'll be drawn to the Revelation 59 or the Vintage Lemon Drop or my White Strat or the 62 or whatever. And I was kind of struggling to kind of feel where I wanted to be today. What guitar is going to be the intro jam guitar? So, and I was struggling. I read your question, and as I was writing it down, I was like, I need to play the Jag, and it just clicked. And as soon as I got the questions all written down, I went into the room and turned on the amp and everything. And just came that intro jam just came out. Just those rolling fade ins and fades out. And weirdly, my Zoom drum machine it kind of almost malfunctioned in a way because I picked a specific drum patch. And as I was playing, it malfunctioned and it spun. I swear this happened. I am not lying. It malfunctioned and it changed drum patch. So I was on. It was in the 20s. I forget. I think it was 22. I forget. Anyway, I had it running on for sake of argument. I don't actually remember now because I can't actually remember much about what happened at the intro jam now. But and I think the patch I eventually used was 23. But I was playing to this patch, say 22, and I thought it sounded good. I liked the drum pattern. It worked to the fades, and I set my delay pedal up to have a longer repeat, so it could drag out. Because I think I had it about 50 BPM, so I had it really slow, and I had the delay repeats turned up really high on the Line 6 delay modeler, so it kind of really dragged. So when I rolled it in, the tail was really long, so to give you that kind of nice transition from chord to chord in that kind of violin-y thing. And as I was playing it, the drum loop, it kind of started to malfunction, and it started to scan through drum patterns, and it went all the way up to 28. And I bent down and I clicked it back, and I just got to whatever drum pattern is. I think it's 23. But again, I won't know unless I turn it back on. But I went back to this one drum pattern. It was a different one, and all of a sudden I was like, "Oh, that's better." And it's weird. I would have stuck with the one I had initially, but the one that kind of happened worked better. So be that for what it is. I don't know, but some things are a bit creepy when like that. But anyway, because of your question, I played the Jag, and as soon as I plugged in the Jag, I knew I wanted to just go to the chorus, put the delay pedal on, and do those rolling fades. And then also I used the Ibanez Wah's bass wah function as well, because I wanted to really. In all fairness, I felt very inspired by John Frusciante's song, what is it, 23 Going to End or something like that. It's the second to last track on Shadows Collide with People. It's like a soundscape. And towards the end of it, there's this kind of auto-ward kind of sound where it's wow, 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 wow. It's like that kind of thing. And I wanted that kind of sound. And so I thought, well, I'll just use the Ibanez Wah on the bass setting. That should kind of emulate that. So I was trying to wah every note, but I don't remember if I did or not. I don't remember what I did now, actually. So I was kind of inspired by that. That's where I was led this morning. It was all because of the Jaguar, and it was all because of your question. So back to the question, not the tangent. You can tell I'm getting well, can't you? I'm better again because here we go, tangent time again. So which Jag would you recommend? I would recommend the Jag I was using was a Squier Vintage Modified, and I think they are brilliant. I think they are amazing, amazing, amazing guitars. So the Jag Vintage Modified is the one I'd recommend. There's also, you know, the Japanese Jaguars are flawless guitars. My brother used to have one, and it's one of those guitars that he wish he still had, and I wish he still had, because it was it was a Fender, and it was it was just like a reissue. I think it was like the 60s reissue, Japanese one, and it was just perfect. Amazing, amazing, amazing guitar. And that was just amazing. And sadly, he doesn't have it. He got rid of it, and I would love to get another one, but they're unfortunately well out of my price range, which is kind of annoying. I would love a three-tone Sunburst Jaguar. I really would love a three-tone Sunburst Jaguar. But I really want a Fiesta Red Jaguar as well. I'm just greedy. Yeah, greedy Dave. Anyway, yeah, the Vintage Modified would be the Jag I would recommend personally, just because I've played that one obviously forever, mine, and I have tried a few others, and I don't. Oh, I do apologise, everybody. Let me just turn my phone on silent quickly. There we go. Okay, so I never learned, do I? That's my problem. Anyway, I'm trying to think if there's any others. I swear Classic Vibe do a Jag as well now, but I haven't tried that one, so I can't comment. I mean, I'm just going to recommend the Vintage Modified, just because I love it. I absolutely love it. I've tried a few. A Sunburst one came up for sale recently in my price range, and I was like, I'm going to buy it. Then I second guessed, and I lost out. I missed it. And I'm just like, and it really hurts. I hate that. I hate when a guitar comes up for sale and you hesitate, and then you miss out on it. So don't ever hesitate. If you want something, you can afford it, go for it. Don't ever hesitate. You will regret it. So that would be the Jag I'd recommend. The Squier Vintage Modified. Awesome guitar. Awesome guitar. Love mine to bits. Absolutely love mine to bits. It'll be with me forever. Okay, so the last part of question 2 is, how do you lower the action on an electric guitar? Okay, so there's all sorts of different ways of lowering the action on an electric guitar. There, on a Stratocaster or a Telecaster or a Jaguar, there are grub screws in the saddles. If the saddle's been, you know, those parts at the back of the bridge. So those, you know, and you need an Allen key to basically spin them up, spin them down to make it higher or lower. Then you also have Les Pauls, which you have a thumb wheel where you turn it and it heightens and lowers. So there's all sorts of different ways, but it's very, very simple. Like I say, like Gibsons normally have the thumb wheel, Fenders normally have the grub screws. It's pretty much like that. That's kind of like the rule of thumb, if you will. So yeah, I mean that's it really. I mean, it is very easy. Fenders always need an Allen key. Gibsons normally need kind of like the strings slackening off, and then you'd use my fingers. But you can get a tool for Gibsons, which is like a wrench almost, which is really, really cool. And I really want to get one of those because I do like to alter the action on my Les Pauls quite a lot, actually, which is weird. Actually, I don't know why I do that so much. I mean, I don't do it loads and loads and like every day, but there are occasions where I do kind of like, oh, I want it a little bit higher today, or I want it a bit lower today. I think it's because I never feel 100% settled on a Gibson style guitar, you know, so I'm always kind of altering them to find that kind of thing. But saying that, that Vintage SG, it's just sat behind you, everybody, that's why I'm pointing. The Vintage SG, I feel extremely comfortable on that guitar. I haven't done anything to that since I got it. That's just kind of, I set that up and left it, and it's just kind of worked out really well, so I don't know. But yeah, I mean, there's multiple ways. But I say, in general, mainly Fender guitars, Fender style guitars, if you will, all have grub screws in the saddles, the bridge part, that to lower and higher, which you need an Allen key to change, and then Gibson style guitars or Tune-o-matic kind of style guitars with the bridges and stuff like that normally have thumb wheels and stuff like that. So that's kind of the things. Okay. So I hope that's such a question. I'm going to move on to question 3 now. And before I do that, I have to blow my nose. And I'm not going to do it on camera because it's gross. So I'll be back in a sec. Okay, we're back. So, I do apologise for everybody. That cold that I had last week is still kind of like lingering. I'm still kind of like getting over it. Anyway, so over such question 2. Going to move on to question 3 now. What strings do you regularly use? Make and size. So I normally use Diodario strings because I love them. As soon as I tried Diodario, I was sold. I use normally Diodario. Well, it depends. On Fender style guitars, I use Diodario 10 to 46s. On Gibson style guitars, I use Diodario's 9 to 42s. But recently, watching a Rick Beato video about strings, I have decided that I'm going to change all my guitars to gauge 9s. Some of my guitars already have 9s on them. So obviously I won't be changing them. But kind of like, I've decided that I am going to change all my guitars. I'm going to start using 9 to 42s kind of for a while to see how I get on. I've always liked 9s. I initially started using 10s because I found out John Frusciante used them. I also found out Matt Bellamy used them. So I was like, oh, you know, I want to be like John and I want to be like Matt. So I was like, oh, I use 10 to 46s then. But before that, I always used 9s. And I've kind of had a kind of like flitting relationship between 10s and 9s for my entire kind of like musical life, if you will. So yeah, I don't really know. I mean, I do know. I am changing to 9s. As soon as I can kind of afford to get enough... Well, I'm not going to be able to do all my guitars in one fell swoop. It's going to have to be a kind of like a gradual changeover because I've got too many guitars. Too many guitars. What a stupid statement that was, Dave. You don't have too many guitars. Need more. You should have bought that white vintage modified Jaguar, shouldn't you? Yes, you should. Silly boy. Anyway. But yeah. I normally use 10 to 46s, but I am changing to 9 to 42s. Rick Beato's video just kind of like sealed the deal for me, especially when I did those back-to-back kind of sound examples. I loved the sound of the 9s over the 10s. I hated the 11s. I could not get on with the sound of 11s. I thought 8 sounded really nice as well, but the 9s was like the perfect kind of sound for me. I really like the sound of 9s. And I do like the feel of 9s. I did use 9s for about 2 years. What was it, 2014? It would, yeah. Yeah, it would have been. 2014 to 2015, I used 9s on all my guitars. Regardless of kind of what it was, I used 9s constantly. And I was gigging a lot at that time as well, and it was just really nice. So yeah, I'm going to go back to using 9s for a while and to see how I kind of get on. So I'm going to have to invest in some Diodario 9 to 42s. Yeah, to restring all my guitars with 9 straight off the bat, I think would bankrupt me. So I'm going to have to do it gradually. But yeah, I mean, that's what I use. I use Diodarios pretty much like exclusively. I love Diodarios. I mean, I do have guitars at this point in time with Ernie balls on. And also some with clear tone strings on, just because at that point in time I couldn't get hold of any Diodarios where I am. It was, it's a case of I need strings now, so Ernie Ball was the closest thing, and I got sent some clear tone ones. But if I had a choice, I wouldn't use anything but Diodario. That'd be, that's my choice. I love those strings. They last forever. They sound great no matter what, and once they're worn in, they're heaven. They really are. So yeah, that's the strings and the makes and the sizes I use. And I say I'm going to 9 soon. I'm really looking forward to that. Really looking forward to that. And Dave Murray uses 9s. That's enough reason for me. Okay, so question 4. Would you recommend the Vox Silvertop wah as a good all-around wah pedal? I certainly would. That's my favourite wah pedal of all time. The Silvertop Vox is my favourite wah pedal of all time. Very, very closely followed by the Ibanez Wah V2. The WH10 V3. I really, really, really love the Vox. I think it is the perfect all-rounder. It's got a great sweep. It takes distortion and pedals while it's clean. It's flawless. It's a flawless wah-wah pedal. I love that wah pedal to bits. And every time I play it, I remember why I love it so much. I'm actually thinking of I can't at this point in time because I'm going to buy the new Ibanez Wah, the V3, But I have been thinking for a long time, I want to buy another silver top wah to go on my pedal board so I can take the Ibanez off if I feel the need, and I don't have to take my, I don't have to sabotage pedal board, so to say. And because they're quite inexpensive, that's cool. But I do at this point in time, I want to buy the V3, the Ibanez WH10 V3. So, but yeah, I would highly recommend the Vox Silver Top as a great all-round wah pedal. I love it to bits. It's just wicked. It's just wicked. As soon as I got that wah pedal, I was like, I am absolutely sold on this thing. Okay, so you also asked this. You also asked, where would you put a DS2 and the Vox Silvertop in my signal chain, and how would you order these for the best John Frusciante sound? So you gave me a list and a lineup of your kind of like your effects and your own. So you have a Fender Blues Junior, good amp. Then from a Blues Junior, you go into line 6 delay, into a little big muff, Boss DS1 for slight distortion, you said, MXR phase, polytune, and then guitar. So with those pedals in the idea, this is the way I'd run it. So coming from your guitar, which is the way I have to do this, sorry, so I know it's the wrong way around, but I have to do it this way because my brain won't make sense otherwise. So from your guitar, obviously going into your polytune, and then from your polytune, are we going to the little big muff, and then from a little big muff, go to the DS2, and then from the DS2 into the Ibanez wah, the Vox wah, and then from the Vox wah, go to the DS1, and then to the phaser, delay, and then the Blues Junior. So yeah, just to recap, from the guitar, tuner, big muff, DS2, Silvertop Vox, DS1, phase, delay, Blues Junior. That's the way I would arrange it personally. If it was kind of like my setup, so to say. So yeah, and that's the way I would kind of. That's the way I'd run it too for the John Frusciante thing, because that's the way John runs his distortion pedal. It's always on that output side, input. I don't know that side. Well, that side for you technically of pedals. So yeah, that's the way I'd run it. So I hope that makes sense. I have to do things backwards, otherwise it doesn't make sense to me. So I do apologise for that. I can't go from the amp. The amp is always the last in line. The guitar's first. I know it's kind of either way, but is it the other way? I don't even know anymore. I'm confused. Anyway, that's what I would do. Hope that makes sense. I would highly recommend the Vox Silvertop wah. It's beast. Okay, so I hope that's a question. Moving on to question 5 now. Wah! Okay, so question 5. You can tell I'm feeling better. And it's nice because that flu was horrific. Okay, so question 5. Now this one should be hard to answer, but it's kind of not. Okay, so question 5 is, who would you rather jam one song with? Peter Green in his prime, so we're talking like early 70s, late 60s. Rory Gallagher or John Frusciante? And nothing against Peter and Rory here, but I would have to, if I could jam one song with anybody, it would have to be John Frusciante. Just because that man's my hero. He's my ultimate hero. He is my constant inspiration. He is the guy that made me want to play the way I play. You know what I mean? People say all the time, questions saying do you ever get bored of playing like John Frusciante, and do you get bored of playing in that style? Don't you want to do something else and kind of like branch out into kind of like this, that, and the other? It's like, no. I'm really happy. I've spent 17 years trying to play like John, and I've done that because I love that way of playing, and I have no desire to break out into all of a sudden playing bebop jazz or heavy rock or heavy metal kind of thing. I've been there and I've done that, and I always come back to that way John plays, that style that John had, from Californication, by the way, to Stadium Arcadium. I always come back to it as like, that's where I want to be. And again, it comes down to like, I've got to be true to what I want to do. I've got to be true to what I want to play. So when I do those kind of John Frusciante-esque kind of style songs and play like John, it's because I love it. It's not because I'm doing it kind of like, for any other reason. I'm doing it because that's the way I want to play. It's simple as that. I want to play like that. That's what I want to do. I don't have any desire at this point in time, because that could change in the future, definitely. But But I have no desire to do anything other than that at this point in time. There are occasions where I like to play like, heavy music. The Marrakesh guitar the other day felt like it wanted to go heavy and really kind of like, really kind of metal-y. And it wasn't really very John Frusciante-esque. But that was because the guitar led me in that direction. The music that guitar makes led me in that direction. But when I pick up a Stratocaster or a Les Paul, I want to play in that style because I love it so much. So I have no desire to do anything other than that, really. That's what I want to do. That's the way I want to play. Because to me, it's expression, and I love that. So it'd be John Frusciante. If I could jam one song with anybody, it'd be John Frusciante. It really would. I would just, that'd be my life complete. If I could meet John, and I could play one. Just jam with him, that'd be enough for me. I don't have to see him again after that. I don't have to become friends or anything like that. Just to meet him and play one song and have him sign my Oswald guitar as well would be enough. That'd be wicked. Okay, so I hope that's the question. We're on to final question, everybody. Question 6 now. Okay, so question 6 is I'm left-handed. But I used to play guitar on a right-handed guitar. I remember learning chords easily enough that way, and I want to start playing guitar again. And I'm wondering, should I get a left-handed guitar or a right-handed guitar, and does it matter starting out? The thing is, just because you're left-handed doesn't mean you have to play a left-handed guitar, because my brother, he's left-handed, but he plays right-handed guitars and right-handed bass, and he's never, ever... He can't play left-handed instruments. Can't do it. He plays right-handed guitars. So it's just kind of go with what's comfortable and what feels right for you. Again, I always talk about this, but it's really, really mega, mega, mega important. Is you've got to listen to yourself. You've got to listen to that inner voice, not the brain voice, not the brain. Keep out of there, because that will confuse you and that will send you in the wrong direction, because that normally leads you down the path of, well, that person said I should get this, even though I don't want this. So I'll get what they tell me. You need to go inside yourself and find that inner, that inner voice. We've all got it. It's just a case of you've got to kind of find it and you've got to listen to it, because it won't steer you in the wrong direction because it's your kind of gut feelings, I'd say. So if you feel, what I'd recommend is you go to a guitar shop and you try right and left-handed guitars. Find the right-handed guitar that appeals to you. Find the left-handed guitar that appeals to you, and play both. And play multiple, actually. Don't just play two, actually. That's silly advice, Dave. Play multiple left and right-handed guitars. And just find what feels right. Because although you might be starting out, it does matter. That does matter. It has to feel right. And you will know when it feels right and when it feels wrong. Give me 1 sec. There's somebody at the door. Okay, we're back. Okay, so where were we? I don't even know. We were here. Haha, so we were. Okay, so yeah. Left-handed, right-handed guitars. Go and try loads of left-handed guitars. Go and try a load of right-handed guitars. You will know when something feels right. It's a gut feeling. It's not a brain feeling. It's not that kind of thing. It's a gut. You pick something up and you just know. One day, I'm going to take you guitar shopping, people of the tube. We're going to go to a local guitar shop called Gallagher's, and I'm going to go and try guitars out and try and explain in that moment what I mean. If it doesn't come across as being a bit weird for people in the shop, where I'm filming and talking to a camera and being a bit creepy, so I might have to do it in a time when they're not so busy. I'll have to discuss it with the owner, who's a really, really cool guy. So one day I want to do a video like that, and maybe even take somebody with me who wants to buy a guitar, maybe, and maybe film it and just kind of talk about kind of the process that I think it needs to be, so to say. So, but yeah, I mean, like I say, just because you're left-handed doesn't mean you have to play left-handed guitars. Just because you're right-handed doesn't mean you have to play right-handed guitars. It depends on what feels correct and feels right for you. Like I say, my brother's left-handed, but he plays right-handed. So he's never played left-handed. It's weird. He picked up the guitar and picked up bass first. He started playing bass first. He picked it up right-handed, and he never even went left-handed guitars. Never once went for a left-handed guitar. So be that for what it is. So, but because of that, I know it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, you know, left-handed players can play right-handed guitars and right-handed can play left-handed. You know what I mean? It just comes down to what feels right. Because to my brother, the right-handed guitar was normal. You know, playing this way was normal instead of playing that way, which technically he should be doing. If he's left-handed, he should be playing left-handedly, but he doesn't. He plays right-handed because that feels more comfortable. So, you ever tried to play left-handed? It's hysterical. Watch this. Everybody at some point should do this because it's a very humbling experience. So just to do something like, I know the strings will be upside down, but I reckon everyone should have that kind of moment of, everyone can kind of, yeah, you can do that, but can you do this? Okay, I'm going to go for an E chord, everybody. Are you ready? Okay, here we go. E minor. We're going to go for a G. D. D's really difficult. Ah! And then we'll go for a C, just to round it off. Back to the E again, just for resolve. I think everyone should do that at some point because it is really fun. And I say it shows you where you were. That's me when I first started playing guitar. You know, just because I can, you know, I can play E. I can play E, G, D, and C. You know, relatively easily now. But this takes me back to being a beginner. All of a sudden, I'm no longer as competent as I am, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? All of a sudden, it puts you back to that point where you are kind of brand new to the instrument. Yeah, you are learning again. You are learning again. And I do have a massive desire to learn left-handed. It's weird. I've always felt this urge. I want to kind of do this, but I obviously want the strings right around. I'm not as good as Dick Dale. G. You know, I always kind of like have a desire to do that kind of thing, but it does. It's humbling. It's a very humbling experience to do it, and I think that if you're teaching somebody, and that person isn't getting it, like, you know, they're struggling with something, turn your guitar over, and you'll know what it feels like. It's a very humbling experience, and it keeps you level and grounded instead of kind of going, well, come on, this is easy. No, it's easy for you because you know how to do it. It's not easy for somebody starting out. So you know what I mean? It's I think it's really important to kind of like remain and always know what it sounds like to, you know, to be a beginner. And that's the way to do it, I think. I always feel that's the way to do it, is just flip your guitar over. Some people are ambidextrous and they can just do it, and that's not fair. But but yeah, so I don't know. I mean, be that for what it is. But like I say, if you're a left-handed guitarist, if you want to play guitar and you're left-handed, you can play right-handed guitars. It just depends on what feels right to you. You know, what feels right to you. What feels right when you play it. So it's just a case of going to try loads of left and right-handed guitars and just find out which ones. But I would say if you learned a little bit when you were younger, on a right-handed guitar, I would maybe go in that direction, especially because you said, like, you remember learning chords fairly easy on a right-handed guitar. I'd be more inclined, with that information, knowing that information, I'd be more inclined to kind of like go for a right-handed guitar, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? So be that for what it may. But yeah, so I hope that makes sense. I really do hope that makes sense. So yeah, that's it. But again, you know, it's one of those weird things. There's a great story I know of Jimi Hendrix. Somebody was saying, like, Jimmy was at this guy's house and he picked up his guitar and he was playing it, obviously, upside down, like this. And he was doing the blues thing, because obviously, you know, being left-handed, this way was normal for him. So he was playing and he was doing blues thing, and this guy was watching him going, that's weird. You know, it was strange to see him play because it was so good. And Jimmy apparently said something along the lines of, do you want to see something else? And Jimmy went like this. And he could play this way, upside down, So I don't know, because I've heard this story a few times from multiple different kind of people. I've read articles and I've read stories and I've heard stories of people saying Jimmy could play either way. So I don't know if Jimmy was ambidextrous or what the story is there, because you never see him kind of doing that kind of thing. But who knows? Who knows? You know, I can't. I wasn't there when Jimmy did that, so I can't verify or not that story. But I like the idea of it. You know what I mean? You know, and you can't really go against people's experiences, so to say. You know, you don't have to agree with their experience, but if that's what they believe and that's what they saw, then you can't go. It's like seeing ghosts. You know what I mean? It's like if somebody says, "Oh, I saw a ghost," you know, and it was blah 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 whatever. You can't turn around and tell that person they're crackers, you know, because they saw what they saw, and if they know what they saw, you know, as much as you may not want to believe it or don't believe it, they saw what they saw, and you can't say that what they saw is wrong. You know what I mean? It's all kind of like, you know, it's all down to, you know, because it is. It's like. Yeah, I don't know. It's really hard to explain, actually. I thought that was going to be easy to explain, and it's not. But if you know what I mean, like, you know, if somebody says they saw something or they witnessed something, you can't then, if you weren't there, you can't tell that person that they're lying. You know what I mean? Especially if you weren't there. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. It's a weird thing. You know, and we've all done it at some point. It's like, oh no, give over. You know, I saw a ghost. No, you didn't. You know, like, you know, how do you know you weren't there? You know what I mean? It's that's that kind of thing. So, open-mindedness, I think, it comes down to, and just kind of let things be what they are, kind of thing. You know, if people have seen something and they've seen something, you know, if they've experienced something, they've experienced something. You know, Jimi Hendrix flipping that guy's story about Jimi Hendrix playing left-handed and then flipping it and playing right-handed without missing a beat could very well be true. Could be very well true. I am very inclined to believe that's real because Jimmy was something else. So I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, I waffle, I digress, I tangent. And I can't help it. I can't help it. Anyway, I hope I've answered your questions okay today, everybody. I hope it's been informative. I hope it's something you can take away. If you want to submit a question to Q&A Wednesday, everybody, description box below, there's an email link. It's the top link in the thingy. Just email me at that email address and I will get to your question. At this point in time, there is a backlog of questions there. I'm still in December, so bear with me. If you've submitted a question recently, I will get to it, but by this time, I'm still in December at this point. It's like mid to late December at this point in time, so just bear with me. There are a lot of questions I've got to get through, so just bear that in mind if you have submitted a question recently. I will get to it, I promise. It'll just take a bit of time. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the intro jam. I don't remember any of it. I just got totally gone. I was gone, and I love that so much. I absolutely love that. Makes me so happy. Anyway, I'm going to get all gushy about that. So I hope you enjoyed this video, everybody. I'll see you again on Friday for another video. Excuse me. And yeah, have a great morning, afternoon, good evening, and goodbye now. Thank you for watching.